Well, this is an honor I didn't expect, but man, been waiting for anyway for a long time to have the fine jazz vocalist Joe Mancuso with us today, and the fine jazz guitarist Dave Black with us today.
And
in the same studio at the same time.
Totally. And everybody knows your name, Joe.
Do they?
They do. But for the people who aren't familiar with your music, could you describe it in relation to somebody who maybe we might know to get an idea of what it's like?
Well,
kind of Frank Sinatra? Or?
Well, I can say this.
Frank Sinatra.
Frank Sinatra-ish. Yeah,
Yes,
well,
yes.
well, I have to admit that Sinatra was probably my main influence.
Really?
But also Billy Joel. But I, as a child or young kid, 8, 9, 10 years old, I started playing guitar and was a singer-songwriter in my teen years, had a rock and roll band. But the Beatles, Sinatra, all of that stuff was always playing on the record player by my mom and dad. And when I went to college at Webster University, I studied jazz, and then I really dug in.
Yeah.
Well, there aren't many people in St. Louis doing what you guys do.
There are a few, but we really, at the moment, kind of stick to the standards. But we're starting to get into more blues, and then Dave and I do a lot of duo work, and we do pop tunes, and we kind of make them jazzy.
But then how much original stuff do you do? And do you get into fights?
Let's get right down to it. What do you guys fight about?
We haven't really had any fights yet.
Well, there's always the first time. We can do it on camera.
Maybe bang that guitar over my head. I don't know. No, but I do write songs, and I do have original works. But right now, I'm just enjoying performing the standards.
Sure.
But I will get to the original stuff. And Dave's composer as well.
And Dave goes along, like if you hear a song that you haven't heard in a while and you're like, hey, I want to do that song.
Oh, yeah.
And then is Dave good with that?
Dave does rock and country and jazz. He does it all.
Dave's the best.
Yeah.
I mean, truly, Dave can play almost any style. And that's what's fun. We'll take something that's...
Give him a chance to defend himself over here.
Dave.
Well, I have to say, working with Joe is a real joy for me. In that, for the very,
He's saying it painfully. Listen to it. It's a real joy.
Is that what the agreement was? Yeah.
Well, simply because he's receptive, to trying new things, and I've worked, over the years, I've worked with many vocalists who want things. Specific way.
Here are the sheets. Just follow them.
Yes.
They're going to do two things this Tuesday. They've only done once before, a year ago, so now it's the second annual. But two things in one night at the Sheldon. It's a benefit to benefit MS, multiple sclerosis.
Nice.
And to educate people about it at the same time, raise money for it. But at the same time, they're introducing new artists to St. Louis, up-and-coming artists in St. Louis. One is Justin Mayfield, who we've had here before.
Yes.
Great guy.
Yeah.
Great. What a talent he is.
Good friend of mine.
The other is Zelina Starr. I don't know anything about
Zelina Starr. Yes, an exceptional vocalist. She does a lot of private work. She's in a group that does a lot of weddings, so you don't see her a lot out around town, although she does perform at Robust in Edwardsville, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah, and in a couple of other places. She does perform around town, but she does a lot of work, like I said, privately, and she's an exceptional talent, and we're really excited to have her.
How did you get to know all these talents? Do you through your agencies or?
In the jazz circles, everyone pretty much freelances. So a lot of times I'll get a gig to play at a certain club, and then I have to figure out who's on piano, who's on bass, who's on drums. Now, it's not like I have a set band all the time.
Oh.
So,
Dave, is that the same with the Dave Black group? Does it change a lot, or is it pretty stable?
It does change a lot.
Mics, get the cameras and mics go. It's same way. Whoever's available that night, or
I work with a lot. It's very liquid in terms of personnel. But I do have a core group that I work with, and then there are replacements, and it's kind of the same way with your band.
So you're all reaching out to each other and working together when you can, I guess.
And there's more of an invitation for that, I have to say, with jazz performance, because there is a lot of indeterminacy.
Now you'll be working with Charles Glenn on Tuesday. And who else? You have the whole band backing you up. For
yes, in the group is Dave Black on guitar, Pete Ruthenberg on piano, James Jackson on drums, Vince Clark on bass, Charles's wife, Nikki Glenn, on violin, and fine saxophonist Christopher Bragg, who's on my CD, playing tenor sax, and of course the two singers, Charles and myself. Plus, we're going to have a guest appearance by my daughter and also my dad.
Nice.
I've seen you sing with your dad. That's
nice.
great.
How old is your daughter?
She is 20.
That's great.
And she studies voice at Webster University.
Wow, just like
That's
the old man.
very nice.
There you go. Well, that's very cool. So that's this Tuesday at the Sheldon. Where do you get tickets? Now, I let's explain this. I think it's important. If you buy tickets from the musicians, you don't pay that fee.
Correct.
If you buy them online.
If you know Zelina or Justin Mayfield, get a hold of them and buy the tickets directly from them, or you could get them at MetroTix online.
And there's a small fee on that one.
Right.
Yeah.
Or at the door the night
It's
of the
15
show.
in advance, 20 at the door.
Correct.
Great. Okay, and that's this Tuesday at the Sheldon.
Nice.
Don't
7:30.
Yeah,
miss
the
it.
Sheldon is great
You can go to
acoustics.
either of these gentlemen's websites for more information, or the Sheldon website. Just go to their calendar, and it's all
Correct.
right there. Now, we do have a guitar here.
Yes.
We do have backup, but we do have an extra microphone. So let's do something. What do you say?
Yay. Yes, absolutely.
All or nothing at all. Half of love never appealed to me, and your heart, it never could yield to me. So I'd rather have nothing at all. I said all or nothing at all. If it's love, there ain't no in between. Why begin to cry for something that might have been? No, I'd rather have nothing at all. Hey, please don't bring your lips so close to my cheek. Don't you smile, I'll be lost beyond recall. The kiss in your eyes and the touch of your hand makes me weak, and my heart, it may grow very dizzy and fall. If I fell under the spell of your call, don't you know that I'd get caught in that undertone? So you see, I've got to say no, no, it's all or nothing at all. No, nothing at all. I said all or nothing at all.